Hi Eric, how you doing?
Great, Kevin. How are you?
Yeah, doing very well, thank you. Very well. Nice to see you again.
Always great to see you.
It's my pleasure, Eric, completely my pleasure. Eric, thank you obviously for in advance for your time today, and as I think we've sort of discussed, I think it'd be really good to have this opportunity to hear, you know, from yourself about the our working relationship, obviously between Alveo Technologies and Astris Partners. So as we sort of start that process, would you maybe give a little bit of introduction to yourself, to your role, and then talk a little bit about Alveo Technologies as well, please?
Yeah, Erik Tyrrell-Knott. I've been doing business development for 30 plus years. So I think I've been doing business development for as long as you've
Maybe.
been, sir. With large companies like General Electric, large companies like Thermo Fisher, and then smaller companies like Mesa, Biotech, Atnarp, and now Alveo Technologies. So my job is to work with external third-party innovators to co-develop products on our platform, to build a pipeline, a profitable revenue-generating pipeline products for testing out in the real world, testing for humans, for infections, for animals, for wastewater, crops, you name it.
Yeah.
And then Alveo. So I can tell you a little bit about it. Alveo has been around for 10 years. We've been focusing in on disrupting the point of care testing market, and are disrupting. That's it's really exciting. So we spent a lot of time and money to get the platform and the product right, and check that box. We've done it, and now we're moving to commercialization. So launching this with our partners out into the world, and I feel like a proud parent. A lot of parents at Alveo, a lot of very hardworking, smart people who
Yeah.
nights, weekends, and really poured their heart and soul into this company, the product, and into what we're doing. But now introducing products to the world and seeing the excitement from our distributors, from our partners, from customers. It's a whole new world and a whole new stage in our growth. It's really exciting. It's a great time to be in.
Yeah. No, it's a phenomenal product. I remember when we first met and you talked about it. It was, genuine of this thing, like, really, is it sort of too good to be true type thing? But actually, having actually seen the obviously the interest we've seen, and the stories, and the product, I suppose the iPhone of handhold testing, and sort of what the capabilities of what, I mean, obviously you're doing incredible work in sort of the obviously bird flu, but the opportunities that I think Alveo presents with for different types of, and from the pathogen testing, I think is really, really extraordinary. So very excited to see obviously where Alveo goes. So no, that thank you for that, Eric. And Eric, what I think would be a really, really good place to maybe to go next is, so well, we obviously reached out to you via email, which is our vehicle, which is what we do, or what we believe very well. And then we obviously had a call, and then that's how this whole relationship started. So maybe talking a little bit about that, but also fundamentally, what was the challenge that you were having at that stage, and I suppose that made the timing of our conversation. It would be interesting to hear from your point of view.
Yeah, so I don't want to be too hyperbolic in my praise and appreciation, but I'm not going to tone it down. So I'm gonna give it to you straight. As I said a little bit earlier, our technology is disruptive, and so the very nature of disruption is novelty. And so the idea that a handheld device is capable of delivering lab instrument sensitivity, specificity, speed, accuracy, all of that, people don't know of that capability. And so my job in terms of reaching out to partners, finding the right partner finding someone who has the money and appreciation, the sophistication, the scientific capability, and an understanding of markets that is willing to invest resources in co-developing and writing our platform, writing our disruptive capabilities into new market niches, I guess I'd say, is it's a struggle. You know, you have to be proselytizing, you have to be selling, you have to be honest, you have to be transparent. This is a partnership that's a win-win. So people need to know kind of what is ahead of us, the opportunity. So Alveo for 2.5 years has been largely a partner-focused company. And so our ability to find, recruit, incent, and collaborate with disruptive partners is kind of our lifeblood. You know, we will sink or swim based upon the pipeline that we develop with invested co-travelers. So that's been my focus for 2.5 years. It's been my struggle. Sisyphus rolling a boulder up the hill, only to have it roll back on me. And so that was the challenge. And I have to say we have had some very brave, very committed early adopters that have seen the opportunity and have been, you know, with us through thick and thin. I'm making this sound like a battle, but it's more the trust and commitment.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna pretend that we haven't had some really great early successes, but the amount of effort and that has to be expended to find that golden opportunity of a partner, because of all the planets that have to be lined up that I just discussed. It's finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
And so we've tried for these 2.5 years. I have a team dedicated, you know, excellent professionals, and we have gotten slowly better and better at finding that needle in a haystack. But it's through the expenditure of extraordinary resources, time, effort, that you know, you talk to 100 companies, find one real home run.
Yeah.
So that's been the
Great. Thanks, Erik. And I suppose, Erik, so then on the back of that, and I'm very conscious that, you know, we'll probably have other leaders in other B2B companies in similar position of yourself who probably can resonate. And then there's sort of this question of, we approached you, we obviously spoke with you, we had a couple of meetings and so on. What sort of, I mean, I'm sure you know, undoubtedly might have had some reservations as well, but what sort of for you sort of gave you the sort of gut feel of, okay, let's do this, let's give it a go, and then we'll obviously get onto the results and what we've done, etc. But, you know, I just want to sort of go through a little bit on that journey.
Yeah. So we're busy, and you were able to, I mean, my spam filter fills up. Things get through the spam filter, and universally I click delete. So do my colleagues. You initially reached out to one of our colleagues. Yeah. And so the fact that with all of these other priorities, you were able to secure a meeting with us and stand out, it's like, what you're promising you can do, you actually did with us.
Yeah.
And you kind of got through to us. And so obviously, as anyone watching this video can tell, you're articulate, professional, smart. You know, you have a ton of credibility, and that's how you showed up for that first call. But you got that call, and what you were saying you could do, I'd been trying 2.5 years to do, and struggled a little bit. Finding those partners with those 6, 7, 8 characteristics, all it's hard. And so I trusted you, and that trust has continued to build through our collaboration. But I didn't know if you knew what you were getting into. And so that was my concern. And I felt like even if, 20-30% chance that this would work, it was worth risking. I mean, that's my job, to try and keep trying to innovate, solve the challenge, find better ways to do it. And so this seemed like an opportunity, a young whippersnapper that could solve the problem. And so we took a flyer with you.
Amazing. Well, no, we're grateful for the partnership and collaboration, Erik. Yes, yeah. Sorry, you're going to say?
You don't like being called a young whippersnapper?
Well, it's fun. I am. I mean, I'm not going to always have that being said about me, so I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. So that's absolutely. No, Erik, absolutely. As I said, no, we really, on behalf of the Astris team, really are. This call is recorded. I just feel like when we have our weekly dialogues, weekly syncs, there's just a lot of positive energy, and it's just great to be able to work with a team that allows us to just do what we do best as well. It really is a two-way thing. So that's fantastic. So now, I guess, getting on to the results, which is ultimately why, the big question of, has this worked? 20-30% chance this may or may not work. And here we are. I think we're now entering into month 3 of our collaboration. And just at some very, very high level, I mean, some of your campaigns or some of your first campaigns, we were looking at 25-30% reply rates. We were looking at 60 to 80% positive reply. We are on the verge of touching, probably by this week, if not next, we'll be touching triple figures in terms of meetings booked for yourself or for Mike. And we're just getting started, really. So I think what's very important, maybe we can spend a bit of time discussing, is really from the conversations you've had, because I think sometimes what people doubt is, okay, great, you're getting lots of it, but is it the right people? Is it the quality? Are you seeing genuine revenue opportunities? Ultimately it's an ROI game. It's not just about anyone or everyone can you reach out to super very junior people, like the wrong type of companies who have a lot of time, and you can book in a meeting, but that's not what anyone wants. You want to speak to your ICP, the right personas, and have quality conversations. So could you talk a bit about your personal experience with, and maybe even on behalf of Mike as well, who obviously couldn't be with us today, but just your general feedback in terms of the quality of meetings would be useful, very, very helpful to hear, I think.
As I kind of said earlier, in order to find a committed partner, you need to tell the story, you need to explain the opportunity, and you need to find the right person with funding, interest, subject matter expertise, molecular capability. And so my assumption has been, it required a rich one-on-one human interaction from the initial point of contact. And so we've been going to trade shows, we've been reaching out and to on LinkedIn and to websites, and have collaborations with certain consortia of like-minded individuals. So we've been pretty clever, I would say, in old school way, in terms of finding the right collaborators. But it's a lot of effort to have a conversation with an informed target. And it's a little bit like drinking through a straw. And you guys have just turned on a fire hydrant. It is freaking amazing. It is like too much. It's like, okay, I'm drowning here with these, and I don't know how you do it. You're like alchemists. It is really, really extraordinary. I get on a call with people and think, oh, Astris missed this one, and somehow they're the ideal partner. They get it. They're excited. I'll say like, oh yeah, I was thinking about doing this. I've been struggling, and that's exactly the problem we can solve. And by looking at the website or looking at the LinkedIn profiles, they would not, on first blush, seem like the ideal candidate. But somehow, I don't know if it's black magic, algorithms, whatever, but your outreach is finding like-minded individuals that are on these calls that are extraordinarily productive. And so, in terms of, I mean, it's extraordinary. And so, in terms of the revenue that this is opening up for Alveo, I mean, these partnerships represent each of them hundreds of thousands of dollars, potentially millions. So that's why I've been spending the time recruiting these people, because each of them is a really valuable asset to us. And in terms of some of the metrics that you started with earlier, in terms of open rates and response rates, respectfully, I don't care about that. I don't know about that. I care about, is this somebody that wants to talk to me that I want to talk to? And each of those is not going to lead to a commercial product. That's the nature of it. The more valuable people you talk to at the start of the funnel, the more valuable products we're going to commercialize, get on the market, and are going to drive revenue to Alveo and our partners. And so, if I had to give like a 3-star review, 1 out of 3, I think I'd give 5. I mean, it is, you guys have kind of thrown the switch magically, and it's a game changer for us. So, you've done really great things for us. So we're appreciative, and it's a really rich collaborative partnership. You are respectful of our time. You are responsive. We have these weekly calls where we're constantly brainstorming. You show up with ideas. You know our business. I mean, you're kind of mind readers. Again, there's you guys are just, as a startup, Alveo, you can't afford to spend time with mediocre collaborators or it's an opportunity cost that just is, you can't afford it. And so, working with you and Boris and the entire Astris organization, it's like you get it, and the ROI is just off the charts. Yeah, it's just a real. I mean, my job is partnerships, and this partnership with Astris is a 5 out of 3 stars. Wow. So I'm very grateful. I'm excited. My suspicion is we've just started this journey together, and there's just great things on the horizon for both of us.
No, thank you, Erik. Thank you. Really appreciate the kind words, and as I to previously, anything that we are able to deliver and we can bring to our partners like yourselves, it's only if we have a strong collaboration. And I think I make that very clear in the first, in sort of the early calls where I say things like, we don't, especially with onboarding, we don't just send a form and get you fill out. We run those workshops because we want to know the ins and outs of the business. We want to speak to you on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, because we not to just give you reports, but actually talk about new ideas. That's what's that famous saying? You're not okay. Part of it might be to pay us to do it, but you're also paying us to think. We're growth partners. We're an extension of your team. These are all words that sound good, but it's very important to us. Part of our values that we actually deliver and bring it, to the fourth of the relationship. So, thank you for mentioning all that. I'm actually, as you said, mindful of your time as well. But thank you for obviously sharing your experience, and we're also really looking forward to a long-term collaboration and partnership with yourself, with Alveo, and all the amazing things you're going to develop and bring. We're excited to get it out and put it in front of the right people.
Yeah, well, just keep doing what you're doing. That's thank you very much.
Thanks, Erik. Cheers.
Okay, Kevin.